Welcome to your weekly edition of James Cups Through, the single origin offering at BlendingRoom on the week commencing the 10th of February 2025. Now, these videos are only applicable during the week commencing as stated. The reason being is that this portfolio flexes and changes through time, and this will cover the week if you're going to buy some coffee from us. And the notion of this video is a guide as to what you may choose if you are actually going to buy coffee from us during this week. And I'll also sort of tell you how you could brew these at home as well as the flavor of the coffees. So without further ado, let's get into the cupping. First of all, we have Pia Moro. This is only going to be around for the rest of this week because, fingers crossed and everything crossed, Pantano will be back today. Now, I haven't had the release notice from warehousing, but I've been promised that it will be with us today. So from tomorrow, it should be back, and Pia Moro goes. Anyway, here we go. So lots of orange with this, a very prominent dark chocolate on the finish. There's lovely texture. There's a little bit of creaminess, and with the creaminess, there's some almonds. So imagine creamed almonds. The acidity is reasonably bright. It's sort of a mandarin, maybe a touch pithy, but basically it is orange, creamed almonds, and dark chocolate. Brew this in every single method of brewing, from espresso all the way through to French press. If you enjoy texture-led coffees, this would be a really great starting point for you. Next in line is the El Cipras. This is a washed coffee from El Salvador. This is the very last of it. I've got 24 bags left, something along those lines. This tastes of bergamot, so like an orange oil, and then lots of toffees and chocolates. There's some brown sugar in there. Again, it's another very texture-led coffee. I would brew this as a full immersion brew like a cafetiere, or I would brew this in my espresso machine. And this has actually gone exceptionally well. I've had some really great feedback of this paired with milk through an espresso machine. Next in line, we have the La Bolsa from our core range. And this is beautifully balanced cherries and chocolates. It's a bit like a Black Forest Gatto. There's a lovely acidity to it. There's a syrupy texture, and that chocolate just develops on your palate for minutes afterwards. This was one of my favorite coffees of 2024, if not my favorite, and I've been buying from this farm for donkey's years, and they really do work well in every method of brewing. This filter coffee maybe, that would be my preference, but I say that because I'm hugely biased towards filter coffee. People do use this through an espresso machine, but you should be okay with acidity. Run a slightly longer shot, 1 to 2.5, something like that. And then every method of brewing in between, whether it's aeropressing or stove topping or you name it, this will work. Next in line is the La Illusion from Nicaragua. Now, this is an interesting coffee. The dominant flavor profile is toffee. Then you get this little bit of orange style of acidity. There's a touch of red apple peel in there as well. But as that dissipates from your palate, you get this lemongrass fragrant characteristic. It's pretty interesting. There have been some people who have enjoyed this an awful lot and have come forward to say so. There are others that have been a little bit indifferent about that fragrant characteristic. Now, if you're going to drink this, if you're going to buy this, do so to brew in a filter coffee. I would maybe not have this as espresso. Why? Because that fragrant characteristic is a little peculiar through an espresso machine, but any type of filtration method, whether that's AeroPress, Harrier V60, a Clever Drip, or I mean, that's a hybridized brew, but something along those lines where the filter paper will clean the cup up, i.e. allow some of the clarity to come through, and that's where the fragrant lemongrass exposes itself. Next in line is the Veronica Mago. This is a washed coffee from Peru. Wow, purple autumn characteristics. There's a fig character that comes through. There's lots of these purple fruit. Just imagine any type of purple fruit, whether it's plum or a touch of blackcurrant or blackberry. Maybe not quite as acidic as a blackcurrant or blackberry, but there's those purple characters in there as well. And then lots of dark chocolate too on the finish. This too would make a fantastic filter coffee if you enjoy purple stone fruits and brown fruits like figs. I mean, that's a bit purple and a bit brown, but anyway, those types of things. Good sweetness, good texture. It's delightful. This is the last roast of this as well. So if you're interested in this coffee, buy it this week because it won't be around next week, I don't think. Last in line is the Eli Chilcon. I think I pronounce it Eli Chilcon. Anyway, I'll call it Eli. Eli Chilcon from Peru. Wow, I'm gonna have a second taste of this. This is so delightful. We put cola on the bag, and what is cola? I mean, it's a little bit like sweet and brown sugary. There are toffee characteristics in here as well, but there's this really interesting tropical fruit. It's a bit mango-like. It's a bit pineapple-like. It is incredibly crisp and precise and clean. I had this on Sunday, yesterday, because I'm filming this on a Monday, as a cafetiere. It was wonderful. You got lots of the brown sugar qualities through. I would strongly recommend that you brew this as a filter coffee mind because it's got so many delicious top notes, and that's where this would excel. I would maybe not run this as an espresso, not necessarily because of the flavor composition, but because the beans are incredibly dense. They're high altitude, dense beans, and this is making the assumption that you're grinding at home. If we grind it, not so much of a problem, but if you're grinding it at home, be mindful of the small, real dense beans. Some home espresso machines might struggle with that. Anyhow, to recap for the methods of brewing, if I was doing espresso, Pia Moro, or the LC Perez whilst they're here, if I was brewing filter coffee, Eli Chilcon. If I was doing a cafetiere, La Illusion. If I was doing AeroPress, I would probably do La Illusion, Cypress Moro, or if I wanted to go fruity, go the La Bolsa. Anyway, that was the single origin offering from BlendingRoom on the week commencing the 10th of February. Hope this video was useful. Got any questions, drop them in the comments, give us a call, pop into the roastery. See you again next week. Cheers.